Hey guys, with the release of Man of Steel coming out soon, I thought that we should look at a Superman comic. And what could be better than a Superman comic that's written by one of the comic book industry's most famous and influential minds? Today, we're going to look at Stan Lee's Superman. Yes, the hero who started it all as reimagined by Stan the Man Lee. Lee and Michael Olsen remade DC's most prominent Justice League heroes for their Just Imagine line, as a tribute to all the writers and artists of yesteryear who have made these iconic characters what they are today. I may get into the other JLA reimaginings down the road, but for now, we're here to talk about Superman, the guy without whom no superhero would even exist. And what better way to pay tribute to Superman, who, remember, is the creation of a couple of Jewish immigrants, than to turn him into a rather pissed-off-looking blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy. Our story begins in the beginning. Makes sense, right? A far-distant galaxy in another universe. No point telling you its name, you couldn't even begin to pronounce it. I wasn't going to ask what the name was, but since you brought it up, now you're just acting like a jerk. Anyway, we open with a young woman talking about some exciting new technology that will allow instantaneous travel between galaxies. Note, I've taken the liberty of translating our characters' dialogue into basic Earth, for those of you whose galactic vocabulary may be a bit rusty. Straight-talking Stan. An Aryan Superman? Only one basic Earth language? This comic's gonna end with twin clones of Hitler, isn't it? But Seldon here isn't so impressed by instantaneous space travel. I get enough kicks working as a lawbringer, Lyella, and when I'm back from mopping up the slime balls, then you, baby, provide all the excitement I need. Superman! Fighting for truth, justice, and getting off! Lyella doesn't like how much time Seldon spends working out, but he points out that he has to do it. Have you forgotten the other lawbringers in my squad? I only remember how much I love you. I don't even remember how to use the bathroom. In fact, I think I might need a changing right now. Or, then again, I'm not really sure since I don't remember what it feels like to need a changing. He exposits that he pushes himself the way he does because the other lawbringers are genetically altered. You know I can't bear being the weakest of them all. I want to be the mightiest, the best. So why don't you let yourself be genetically altered too? He flies off to work, but not before Lyella tells him how she has a strange sense of impending doom. I guess Seldon has a thing for pessimistic drama queens. Once airborne, Seldon starts to monologue about how impressed he is by his new flying harness. Silent flying harnesses, space-time benders, there's nothing science can't do. Can science give you a better fashion sense? Because the cape with the tails, the big clunky gloves, they're not working. He joins the other lawbringers in the middle of a hostage situation, and we can see that his fashion sense is all the more ridiculous since the rest of his squad are dressed in SWAT gear. I guess he's dressed like a superhero just for the sake of feeling more important. Pfft, loser. The hostage takers are holding up an interplanetary cruise bus, and they start throwing stun bombs at the lawbringers, which explode immediately for these guys, but act like timed grenades for Seldon, giving him time to throw one of them back. How convenient. I'll toss the bomb over the cruiser to the starboard side. That'll make them draw their fire away from us. I'll just yell my plan loudly so they don't know what I'm about to do! But they end up falling for his little trick, and he takes them all out with his bare hands and saves the hostages. And I have no idea how he took them all down, since he's just a regular guy and they all look as genetically altered as his fellow lawbringers. We then cut to a maximum security prison yard, where Gundor Gorok... I'm sorry. Where Gundor Gorok easily beats up one of the genetically altered guards, steals his flying harness, and flies off to get revenge on the guy who put him away. Apparently, science can't do anything except make a prison yard with bars going across the top of the walls to keep its inmates caged inside. We then find Lyella, who has ditched her elegant morning gown for something that Tim Burton would make if he was a fashion designer in the 80s. But then... oh yeah! Gorok busts in and ties her up, but kills her and leaves when he hears police sirens. And I'm suddenly wondering, if they just developed the space-time bender to travel to far and distant galaxies, wouldn't the police already use this technology for their own purposes? Apparently, they already knew that Gorak was coming here, so why not use what they have just to teleport there before Gorak arrives? Selden and the other cops follow Gorak to the launch pad where they're testing the new time-space bender prototype ship, because of course he knows how to pilot an experimental ship that can bend time and space. Well, well, looks like I'll still have my chance to take care of Selden. How lucky can you be? I'll make it easy for him by opening the door.
Let's tell each other what we're going to do before we do it, and then do it.
He lets Selden on board, and then he hits the gas before Selden can land a single punch. We then cut to an undisclosed period of time later, where Gorak is just waiting patiently for Selden to wake up instead of, shooting him or throwing him out the airlock. They start fighting, but then they start to descend into Earth's atmosphere. What are the odds, right? Gotta slow it down. It's plummeting out of control. The instruments are new to me. No time to study them. I can't even use the controls with these big bulky gloves, and they were so fashionable! But Gorak knocks him out with a monkey wrench, which I guess is standard issue on alien planets. No time to finish him off. Lucky there's a spare shoulder harness on board. 1. In the time that it took you to say that, you could have easily put a bullet into his head. 2. Why do you need a spare flying harness? What happened to the one that brought you here in the first place? Gorak jumps ship, and the ship crashes into the ocean with Selden trapped inside. What a way to end up, running out of air miles below the surface of a strange planet in an unknown galaxy. It could be worse. You could be miles above the surface of an alien planet, taking the form of a frightened bowl of petunias or a very surprised-looking sperm whale. He manages to bust out of the ship and swim to shore, noting how impossible it all seems since he shouldn't be strong enough to do so. And now we see comic cliché number 42, where a bunch of goons see an over-muscled man in superhero garb, and figure that the best thing to do is to try to beat him up. Wake up, pretty boy. Anyone sleeps on our beach gotta pay for the privilege. I don't understand your stupid-sounding lingo, but nobody mauls me. Get it? Remember, class, we're translating Selden's speech into English from its original basic intergalactic. Oh, so that was the name of Selden's home planet. Intergalactica. Kind of easy to pronounce there, Stan. He quickly deals with them, still confused by his enhanced strength. His wristwatch falls off, and it's apparently falling slower than it would be on his own world, and he theorizes that his enhanced strength is the result of Earth's lower gravity. Compared to the people on this world, I'm some sort of Superman. And with my enhanced speed, I can do things in mere seconds that regular people would do in an hour. Like I was some sort of hour man. He decides to scope out our planet's primitive civilization. Great, he's an elitist too. Which he can do more easily because the atmosphere's so thin, I've got telescopic vision. I can see much farther than I could back home. And because of the thin atmosphere, running faster than a speeding bullet and leaping tall buildings at a single bound was a really bad idea. He tries to fly, but apparently his flying harness's power cell was damaged in the crash. I'm sure there's someone out there who knows more about science than me, but it seems to me that an alien device from another world with much higher gravity would probably survive impacting with a world of much slower gravity, especially since it's being used by cops who are anticipating getting into a beating in their line of work. And also, they just completely destroyed a perfectly legitimate explanation as to how this Superman can fly for absolutely no reason. Thanks, Dan! Since he's stranded on this planet, he figures he should try to learn the native language. He looks at a newspaper, and is amazed by how English has only 26 letters in its alphabet. What, does the lower gravity give him super counting speed, too? Only 26 letters in their language. Back home, our alphabet has more than 1,000! And Martians can only speak the word ack, but it doesn't make their language any less complex. He passes several civilians, and I guess that English is such a primitive language that he learns it just by hearing 21 words, 2 of which are contractions, one combination of 2 other words, and another 2 words that don't make any kind of grammatical sense. Which is lucky for me, no more translating. Lazy Bones Lee. You know, you could have just drawn a little Bluetooth device in his ear and call it a universal translator or something else like that that would be marginally beneficial to anyone working in law enforcement.